Every new journey we choose to embark on is filled with excitement and anticipation. And there may also be feelings of hesitation. As we travel along, we discover the blessings and our hesitations on our new path. Additionally, we have the opportunity to recognize the power of blessing, whatever is before us and or triggering us.
Blessings, because it's big.
blessings, blessings for the path, 'cause we're stepping into the unknown. Blessings for the path, 'cause we're stepping into the unknown. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where every person discovers his or her own personal power. Blessings, 'cause we're stepping, blessings, 'cause we're stepping, blessings for the path, 'cause we're stepping into the unknown. Blessings for the path, yeah, we're stepping into the unknown. We believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. We believe. Blessings, 'cause we're stepping, we've got blessings, 'cause we're stepping, yeah. Blessings for the path, 'cause we're stepping into the unknown.
Hello again, dear ones, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver online Sunday service. We are a loving, prospering community in the heart of Capitol Hill and online. And as we remain online for hopefully just a couple more months, stay in touch with our community via our newsletter. If you're not already receiving it, we only send one per week. Sign up at our newsletter over on the website csldenver.org. And remember, all of our practitioners would love to pray with you. We celebrate the wins in your life, and we help you to process the stuff you don't really like in your life. Head over to the website csldenver.org, check out the roster of practitioners, and learn how you can start working with a professional practitioner to create the life you truly desire. And remember, today, right after our service, we have our weekly Zoom fellowship. This happens right at the top of the hour, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. If you have a link from a previous service, go ahead and use that. Or if you need a new link to get into the Zoom room, just send an email to info@csldenver.org. We'll make sure we get you a link before the end of today's service. Hey, with the summer months coming, remember, wear your sunscreen, drink extra water, and plan now to hang out with CSL Denver as we look for new ways to stay in touch. If you have an idea for an outdoor event, a backyard barbecue or picnic, or some other way we can stay together socially throughout the summer, please let us know. Send an email, info@csldenver.org, and share your ideas with us. Let's get back into the music with more by Freddie Rodriguez Jr.
the power of God. Through me flows the love of God. Through me flows the glory of God. And I will serve the Lord. Through you flows the power of God. Through you flows the love of God. Through you flows the glory of God. And you are one with God. Through us flows the power of God. Through us flows the love of God. Through us flows the glory of God. And we are one with God. Through me flows the power of God. Through me flows the love of God. Through me flows the glory of God. And I will serve the Lord. Through you flows the power of God. Through you flows the love of God. Through you flows the glory of God. And you are one with God. Through us flows the power of God. Through us flows the love of God. Through us flows the glory of God. And we are one with God. And I am one with God. And you are one with God. And we are one with God.
Good morning. I'm Tim Hancock, a practitioner here at CSL Denver, and I invite you to close your eyes and move into the center of your being for the invocation. And as we move into that center, we know that the one power, the divine universe, the Spirit of God is in, through, and around each and every one of us. And it is at our very center. And as we connect with that, we feel that power of love, of joy, of compassion, of creativeness, all that is God. And as we move in, through, and around our week, we allow all of those attributes to guide us and to lead us into the betterment and the fulfillment of our lives, as well as the lives of all around us. For we know we are blessed, just as we know each and every person, wherever they are blessed, whether they are in a mosque, a synagogue, a temple, out in nature, or simply sitting in their living room or kitchen having a breakfast beverage, knowing that the peace and the love and the power of the presence of the divine universe is with all of us. As we move into this service, we know that the words of Reverend Mark are blessed, as well as my words, and the technology of Diego. just as our senior minister, Reverend Elzia, and all of the practitioners and all members of our congregation who are here today are blessed. I am absolutely grateful for knowing all of this and for allowing it to be a part of me. And I just simply say, and so it is. And so we let it be. And our reading today is from the book Be Yourself by Reverend Mark Gilbert. And there's a couple profound paragraphs that I'd like to go ahead and read. And I'm going to read directly from the book. My hope is that you have identified your calling or reason for being, identified any barriers in your beliefs that prevent you from becoming yourself, created affirmations, reprogrammed your beliefs, and created a vision and intentions to guide you towards becoming yourself. I selfishly want you to be selfish in moving forward in being yourself. I can selfishly desire you to selfishly move towards being yourself because I know the more you do so, the more selfless you become. The more you become your true self, the more you desire the best for others. You want to give to others in service. You want others to grow and flourish and become all they can become. You want others to become their true selves. And from our founder, Ernest Holmes, I'd like to offer this affirmation. In the peace of God, I feel the love of a holy presence. In this consciousness of love, all sense of fear slips away. I see good in everything, God personified in all people, and life manifest in every event. And so it is. And now back to Freddie and his music, The Power of Love.
Feel the power of love. You got the feeling, the power of love. Let it guide me. Oh, let's explore that love forever together. Feel the power of love. You got the feeling. Feel the power of love. Let it guide you. Oh, let's explore that love forever together. Feel the power of love. You got the feeling. Feel the power of love. Let it guide us. Oh, let's explore that love forever together. power of love. You got to feel it. Feel the power of love. Let it guide us. Oh, let's explore that love forever. Together. Forever. Together. Forever.
Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful song by Freddy this morning. And a beautiful vibration just to anchor that into our feelings today. I'm Reverend Mark Gilbert. It's great to be back with you at the Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. And today my talk is entitled Feeling into Love. And it's a part of the theme for all the talks this July at CSL Denver, which is Pulled by Vision. Pulled by Vision. That's also the cover title for this month's Science of Mind magazine, which if you haven't seen it, I'd invite you to pick up a copy of it. It's got a lot of articles that cover this idea of being pulled by vision from lots of different topics, lots of different ways. But what I want to do today is something a little bit different. I want to look at the idea of being pulled by a vision. And what exactly does that mean? And how does it relate to our philosophy in the science of mind? And then offer some thoughts on how love relates to it. So I'm hoping that by the end of this talk and then over the next few minutes, you'll have a greater understanding of how love serves you to support your vision and how your vision and the power of love totally interact together. But first, let's look at the idea of being pulled by vision. What exactly does that mean? Now, as you probably already know, the vision that I'm talking about is the idea that you carry around in your mind about the desired direction for your individual life, your desired direction for the world, and your role in creating that world. Do you have such a vision? Do you carry one around with you? You know, some of you hear that question and you may say, no, I'm too busy living my life one day at a time to worry about a vision for my life or a vision for the world. Or you might say, I haven't stopped to think about it lately. But what I'm inviting you to do is to consider it. And I would also suggest that even if you think you don't have a vision, that you're not carrying around a vision, you haven't written it down in some sort of formal way, that you do have a vision for your life. Somewhere within you, you carry an idea about how you'd like to see your life unfold, where you'd like to be in 5 years or 10 years, or the accomplishments that you'd like to see by the end of your time here on Earth. You most likely have some idea of how you'd like the world to evolve. You look out at all of the world and the things that are going on there, and you probably have some thoughts about how you'd like to change it, how you'd like to see the world be different. You've got hopes and dreams that you carry about for your highest and best life that you can live. I know I have these thoughts, and I know that most people I talk to do too. But within those thoughts for our personal life in the world is our vision, even if we haven't written it down. You know, it says in Proverbs that where there is no vision, the people perish. And another way of saying that is that people with no vision have no direction. So how does having a vision relate to this philosophy that we teach at Centers for Spiritual Living? How does it relate to the science of mind? Well, briefly, I see the connection in two ways. The first way is probably fairly obvious and relates to the most well-known aspect of the science of mind teaching, and that's that thoughts are things. Hence, what we tend to think about is what we tend to manifest in our lives. You know, most people, when they first come to the science of mind, they're usually challenged by some experience in their material life. They want more prosperity, better relationships, a better job. They want to find a love life, or other things that they know that are part of a good, enjoyable earthly life they feel like they don't have right now. And so much of our basic teaching is about identifying what you're currently thinking and how to replace those old thoughts, which are giving you your current experiences, with new thoughts to bring about the world that you want to experience. That is, we teach seeking to reorient our thinking to see that vision of what it is we desire and have it be already in our life. It's through this changing your thinking that you'll change your life and manifest your desires in the physical world. You know, if you can master that key part of our teaching, then using the philosophy has been successful for you. And although the idea is simple, I think no one that's ever approached it and tried to use it knows that it's easy. And that for many of us, it can be difficult to practice consistently by replacing old thoughts with new thoughts. Yet, it's the vision of this life that we desire that is the focus of our teaching. It gives us direction as to what it is that we want to manifest. And that's the basic way in which I think vision relates to science of mind. But there is a second way where vision is important in our philosophy. And I believe it's a bit more esoteric and less taught, although I tend to stress it a lot in my talks and teachings. And that's how a vision serves our growth and evolution. Yes, you've heard me say this many times, that we live in two worlds at once, that we have one foot in the physical material world and one foot in the spiritual world. I love the words of French paleontologist and Jesuit priest and spiritual teacher and someone who was really a pioneer in the area of spiritual evolution, and that is Teilhard de Chardin, who famously stated that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Even though we're ultimately spiritual beings, you know, our time here in the physical world is truly a wonderful gift for us all. We get to experience all the beautiful and wonderful things that are here on earth. Think of the sunrises and sunsets, the waves beating up on the beach, being out in nature, watching the birds and the animals, power of creating things in our own life, the birth of our children or grandchildren, the sense of connectedness with another human being, experiencing the vast beauty of this planet and all the material things that bring us joy each day. And it's through the experience of this world and the joy that it brings us that the infinite being of spirit also experiences its creation. We tend to forget that. But even though we're living in two worlds at one time, we must also remember that we're evolving and growing and changing, and that our true nature and our natural state is to evolve beyond this material world. I wrote about these topics in my book, Our Spiritual Evolution, where I drew upon the teachings of so many other wise people. In that, I wrote that I believe that spirit, God, infinite intelligence, in creating this universe that we are all existing in, embedded itself into all of its creation. Spirit, though, even though it embedded itself in everything, it is through us, and so that through us it could more fully experience this physical world, it caused us to forget our source. And it gave us free will to choose our thoughts, words, and actions. So what does that mean? It means we began our lives blind to the fact that spirit is our source and that we're all one. We were free to live in a sense of separation and choose thoughts and actions based on the needs of our ego. Many of us, when we recognize we're all one, we still sometimes choose ways that are, we can choose ways that are in alignment with our source, that is, with oneness. But it's difficult to do it consistently. And sometimes we choose selfishly, believing that we're separate and apart from one another. And although we're free to live and choose separation and competition and fear and to doubt our abilities and the glorious truth of our divine nature as we move through this material world, we're ultimately evolving towards recognizing that we're all one and embedded with this divine spirit. That's where we're headed. We're all evolving towards transcending this third dimensional experience and towards higher and higher dimensions. Hence, I believe that we're all evolving back to source, to spirit, the divine, to oneness, to whatever name you wish to give it. All of us are walking a spiritual path in our own way back to a return to love and oneness. Okay, so we're all evolving. How does our vision relate to that? Well, it's our vision for a greater life and a greater world that is calling us to move forward. Now, some of you may say, I've got a vision, but it has nothing to do with remembering I came from spirit or oneness. That may be true. But I would say that behind every vision for our lives, it is a desire to be creative, a desire for positive change, a desire to make lives better in some way. And these desires to improve your life and the lives of others has the added benefit of our overall evolution being served. Think about this. When we improve conditions for everyone, we allow ourselves and others to focus on higher and higher needs. Many of us might look back and remember the teachings of Abraham Maslow and his famous hierarchy of needs. And what he basically taught with his pyramid is that as we meet our basic needs, we each move up the pyramid to meet higher and higher needs. If each of us are focused on creating a better world, no matter how we label it, if we can bring everyone to focusing on their higher needs of self-actualization and self-transcendence, then we really truly are serving the evolution of the planet. Yet all of us get off the path of the greater vision from time to time. And when we veer from that greater direction, there's two forces that Spirit has working to move us back on track. These forces are Spirit's way of gently moving us in the right way where we can remember our oneness. The first force is what is often called being pushed by life. By that we mean that our life experiences are so challenging that they force us into looking at where we're going and what we're doing with our life. They force us to grow and learn and make better choices. If we don't learn the lesson, life keeps giving us that damn lesson over and over until we learn it. You know, these lessons can show up in different ways. It can be job losses, financial crises in our life, relationships ending, deaths, and so many other life events. Each one of them asking at their core us to reconsider our life's direction, each one of them offering us a lesson to grow and evolve and get back on our path. So that's being pushed by life. But the second force that works to get us back on track is being pulled by the vision. This is where external events, or more often internal feelings, turn up in our experience and show us a higher and greater path for our lives. These experiences or feelings invite us to shift our focus, reorganize our priorities, and take stock of our actions so that our lives can move towards that vision. There's a number of feelings that can serve as these evolutionary course correctors for us. For example, one is our desire to be creative, and another one is the power and the feeling of love. You know, our founder, Ernest Holmes, referred to these evolutionary course correctors as our quote-unquote divine urge. Divine urge. He wrote, "There is an irresistible, universal, and divine urge within us to be happy, to be whole, and to express the fullness of life. The latent divinity within us stirs our imagination. Because of its insistent demand, impels and compels our growth. It is back of every invention. It proclaims itself through every creative endeavor. It has produced sages, saints, and saviors, and will, when permitted, create a new world in which war, poverty, sickness, and famine will have disappeared." Holmes also said, "The insistent and universal desire for self-expression is the divine urge within us. Even God himself tapping at the walls of our heart, urging us on to a fuller life." Do you feel that urge to create and to grow and to evolve? You know, I know that I do. And this urge comes to me in a desire to think about the vision for my life. Have you thought about your vision for your life lately? If not, I urge you to do so. You know, when I've thought about my vision and sort of put it down in words, it's very much in alignment with the vision for our spiritual organization, Centers for Spiritual Living. Probably not surprising to you. CSL's vision is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence and to create a world that works for everyone. You've probably heard those words. In fact, I think we heard them in the song from Freddy a few minutes ago. We mention it frequently, and it was also the subject of some theme a month or two ago in the recent talks. For myself, however, briefly stated, my vision for myself is to be a loving and beneficial presence in all interactions, to continue to grow and evolve in my spiritual wisdom, to enjoy this life experience to the fullest, and to be a change agent in my areas of influence so as to assist others in awakening their spiritual truth and then assist in creating a world that works for all. Now, you might think that sounds pretty good, pretty cool, but I'm on the mark in living that vision. Truth is, if I'm honest with myself, is that sometimes I am, and sometimes not so much. Like many of us, I can get off track as I fill my mind and my life with doubts and fears and judgments of others and distractions and sometimes just plain laziness and procrastination and the like. Can you relate? Why is this? Why are we drawn off course? Well, in the most general of terms, the reason that often relates to our learning limitations and instilling our minds with feelings of inadequacy when we were children. We came to this planet wanting to be loved and have our needs met. Instead, we experienced things that were very different. And these other experiences filled our heads with the ideas that our lives are limited in some way and that we're at some level unlovable. We ask ourselves, who are we to live these big visions? Even though we feel them, we have doubts. What I'm suggesting to you here is the power of love can assist you in staying on target with your vision. We all have an idea of what love is. We've all felt love, fallen in love, sang songs about love, said we love someone or something. We all love the feeling of love. And many times, we've consciously sought love. However, the truth is that we all have love within us and that we can always give and be love. Why is that? It's because love, and remember this, love is our natural state of being. It's who we really are at our core. Spiritual teacher Marianne Williamson wrote that love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. Meaning doesn't lie in things, meaning lies in us. And Ernest Holmes wrote, love is the grandest healing and drawing power on earth. It's the very reason for our being, and that explains why it is that people should have something or someone to love. The life that's not loved, he wrote, has not lived. It is still dead. Think about this. We teach in Science of Mind that God is in all as all, that the power and presence of God is in us. Yet we also teach, as most spiritual paths do, that God is love. So if God is love and God is all as all, doesn't that mean that we're embedded and infused with that divine love? If at our essence we are love, then it's only natural that the feeling of love is something that's so well known by us and why we love that feeling so much. Another reason I believe that love is our natural state is because love is more than just an emotional feeling. I believe that love is also an evolutionary force whose purpose is to connect us with one another in this physical world. Love pulls us out of our sense of ego. It causes us to let go of separation and to feel care and concern for things that appear separate from us. When we love our children, our spouse, our pets, our friends, things out there in the world, that feeling pulls us out of a sense of being an individual and into a sense of connectedness. Can you feel that? Can you truly feel that? In so doing, love calls us to transcend the physical. Love pulls us higher on our path in our return to oneness. In the words of artist Alex Gray, love, consciousness, and creativity are the highest refinements of the cosmic evolutionary force. Spiritual teacher Gurdjieff put it this way: real love is a cosmic force which goes through us. If we crystallize it, it becomes the greatest power in the world. And back to Teilhard de Chardin, who wrote, driven by the forces of love, the fragments of the world seek each other so that they may come into being. So if love's our natural state as a spiritual being, and love is also an evolutionary force, bringing us back through our evolution to realize oneness, how can we cultivate more love in our lives? How can we allow love to pull us along to our highest vision? Well, I've got a lot of thoughts on that, but instead of covering them all today, I'm going to give you some homework. I wrote a blog on my website, Conscious Bridge, So if you go to consciousbridge.com, you'll see a blog article entitled Ways to Feel into Feeling, Ways to Feel into Love. The link may be on the screen, but just go to consciousbridge.com and look for a recent posting. I'd invite you to go read it. There you're going to find 12 different suggestions of ways that you can bring more love into your life. I really invite you to do that as homework. However, we're going to take a real one and do it really quickly. We're going to do it together. So what I'd like you to do in this moment is to close your eyes. And I want to shoot a picture in your mind's eye, someone you feel love for. It could be alive or it can be no longer in the physical. It could be a child, a grandchild, a pet, a spouse, a friend, someone that you feel love for. Has that person popped into your awareness? If so, what I want you to do in this moment in your mind's eye is to picture sending love to them and thanking them for being in your life and allowing you to feel this love. That practice and more, and you can open your eyes now, that practice and more practices, if you can do something every day to bring more love into your life, then what you'll be doing is actually not only serving yourself, but serving your growth and your evolution and serving the planet. As I end today, I know I've covered a lot of stuff with you this morning. I feel the desire to review this. I'll be posting a blog on my website, Conscious Bridge, in the next day or two with the text of this talk so you can go back over it. I invite you to check it out. But here is a quick summary of the 6 key points I covered this morning. We all have a vision for our lives. It's beneficial to think about it and write it down. Our vision serves to give direction to our lives so we can consciously change our thoughts to move in that direction towards our highest and best idea of ourselves. Our vision also serves to evolve us towards remembering our oneness, feeling our connectedness, and transcending this dimension. When we get off the path of our vision, life events can push us back on it, and the vision itself can pull us towards it. Love's not only a good feeling, it's an evolutionary force that can cause us to feel connected to others and to bring us back to being on course towards our vision. And finally, we can consciously choose practices to feel more love in our lives. We can be love. I end today with one more quote from Teilhard de Chardin, where he wrote, "Someday, after mastering the winds, the waves, the tides, and gravity, we'll harness for God the energies of love. And then for the second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire." Let's pray. Oh, as I touch into the Spirit of God, I just know there's only one power, one life, one divine essence. It moves in and through me, and it moves through every person listening to this message. We're live or on the recording of the video. I simply know that every person that is listening to these words is a part of that oneness, as is everyone everywhere. As we tap into that oneness, we know that every one of us is on that evolutionary path to the greatest and highest calling for our individual lives and to serve as a conduit for the growth of the collective. That we are all uniquely in our own way evolving back into that awareness of the remembrance of our truth, that we were born for the oneness of spirit, and we are returning to that oneness. And I know that every person here sets that intention this day to move closer into that awareness by setting an intention to every day live more peacefully, more harmoniously, and to bring love more fully into their lives. I give thanks for everyone here today and for listening to this message and for the growing and evolving nature of every one of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Mark. What a beautiful, beautiful talk this morning. Really, really do enjoy it and got a lot out of it. We are grateful and blessed for everyone's support here at CSL Denver, whether it's in time, treasure, or talent, and especially during this time of change. Whether this is your first time joining us or you're a returning community participant, we want to thank you for your continuing financial support of the important work we're striving to provide. Right now, there are several ways that you can support us. through Center for Spiritual Living Denver. And the information is on the bottom of the screen. If you haven't already done it, and when you shop at King Soopers or Amazon Smile, you can link your account to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Our centers then receive a percentage of all the proceeds. If you need to, you can email us for more information on this topic. And just a personal note, I notice on my King Soopers slips that it does indicate that I'm giving to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver, as well as Amazon Smile. So it does work. Now, we'd like to go ahead and use our affirmation that we use every Sunday for our offering. And if you have your offering in your hand, or if you have it just in your heart, please place your hand on your heart and repeat with me. This perfect gift is spirit informed, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. All righty. Now, here at CSL Denver, we want you to know that we're here for you to celebrate or to hold space for you. Our practitioners are available for prayer work with you, and we do love to pray, whether it's a challenge or a celebration. Our names and phone numbers are on our website at www.csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, you can email it to info@csldenver.org. As mentioned in the beginning of our service, we're having our usual virtual fellowship on Zoom this morning, and we'd love for you to come join us at fellowship and let us know how you're doing. The topic for the fellowship today is, what is your vision for your summer here in Colorado? If you didn't receive a Zoom invitation early this morning, please send an email to info@csldenver.org and mention fellowship, and we'll send you a Zoom invitation right away. We are hoping to get back together as soon as possible in person, and as soon as the building opens up that we use. We are, in the meantime, planning some classes in advance, so if you're not on our mailing list already, send an email to info@csldenver.org and ask to be put on the mailing list. We promise to send only one email a week letting you know what's going on. And the email addresses are kept confidential. New Thought Media Network also has a lot of programs that by different practitioners and ministers, and you can check them out both on Facebook or YouTube. In the meantime, we hope that you have a wonderful week, and we affirm here and now that 2021 is blessed and perfect in all it is. We love you and we miss you, and we hope to be able to get together again soon. Please take care of yourselves, and now please enjoy some more music from Freddie Rodriguez Jr.
Through me flows the power of God. Through me flows the love of God. Through me flows the glory of God. And I will serve the Lord. Through you flows the power of God. Through you flows the love of God. Through you flows the glory of God. And you are one with God. Through us flows the power of God. Through us flows the love of God. Through us flows the glory of God. And we are one with God. flows the power of God. Through me flows the love of God. Through me flows the glory of God. And I will serve the Lord. Through you flows the power of God. Through you flows the love of God. Through you flows the glory of God. And you are one with God. Through us flows the power of God. Through us flows the love of God. Through us flows the glory of God. And we are one with God. And I am one with God. And you are one with God. And we are one with God.